Okay. Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Mithilesh Kumar, and I welcome you to this first live session for Introduction to Western Political Thought. During this live session, I'll be happy to respond or discuss or listen to your feedback on the course or respond to the doubts or questions that you may have. I'm glad to see so many of you have enrolled for this course and also registered for the exam. And I'm sure you find this course interesting and also informative. Do share your feedback. I'll be happy to hear them. And I'm sure many of you are also using the discussion forum to share your ideas. And if you have any doubts or questions, you can also raising them on that platform, and you're getting the timely response from NPTEL team or the TA. Today, during this live session, I'll first address a few general concern that some of you are having, and one learner has also raised that in the Google spreadsheet. But for those of you who are joining through YouTube channel, you can type your question or comments. I'll take them also during this live session. I see Yuvraj here, Yuvraj Singh in this link. You can unmute, you can share your thought, and we can have the discussion. So Yuvraj, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let me start with the concern that some of you are having, and one learner, and Dharani, has put up on this Google spreadsheet that is related to exam, the questions, and the pattern of that question. So as you know, this final question or the final exam that is on November 1st will be in online mode, and the questions you will be getting will be of MCQ type. That is, you will have multiple options, and only one of those options is correct. So there will not be any descriptive question or subjective type question. You have to select or identify the most appropriate or the most correct answer out of the available options. So there will be 4 options, and there is only one of the 4 option that is correct. So sometimes to test your understanding or to assess your comprehension, you may find, there is the possibility of more than one correct answer, but you select only the most appropriate one. So pay attention to those options and choose your options correctly in a thoughtful way, in a proper way, which is the most appropriate to the question that is asked. So it's clear that it will be MCQ type question. And the second that some of you may have is how to prepare for it. What should be the resources? What should be the reading material? So if you have been submitting your assignment regularly and you are doing well, then it will also help you in the final exam. So a lot of questions you will find coming directly from the weekly assignment. And to do well even in the weekly assignment, I expect you, and you're expected to go through the video. That's the basic minimum. But along with video, if you read the PPT and the transcript that is provided, that should be more than sufficient for you to do well in the weekly assignment and also in the final exam. So to perform well and to get good percentile, just watching the video and going through the PPT and transcript should be more than enough. However, on a particular thinker, if some of you are more interested, then if you look at the PPT, the last slide gives you a reference for further reading. You may also pick up one or two books which you may use as the textbook. But for this course, for doing well in the exam and in the assignment, I think the transcript, PPT, and videos are more than sufficient. But depending upon your interest, you can also look for some other material that is provided. So these two things I think I should discuss. Then on this discussion forum, there is one learner, Manisha. She's asking about why Hobbesian definition of a state of nature is called nasty, brutish, and sort. Very good question, Manisha. If you know, and I think this is the thinker which you guys are doing now. So Hobbes was developing his political theory in a time where there is no stable civic authority. There was chaos, uncertainty, or civil war just happened. So he has this hypothetical hypothetical state of nature. So historically, there was no state of nature. Only in the Hobbesian scheme of thing, or his argument for sovereignty or political obligation or sovereignty, which he calls Leviathan, he was thinking about how to provide a basis for a stable government or a civic authority. And what is the conditions of life when there is no civic authority, there is no force or authority that can enforce the law or implement the law. So he come up with this hypothetical state of nature, which imagine the life of individual in the absence of civic order, in the absence of law, in the absence of government. And there he come up with this idea that individual being selfish or driven by their self-interest, their desire to protect themselves, and such self-interest when eventually and often are in conflict with the interest of other. So that will lead to conflict, that will lead to violence. So he considered that condition of life in the absence of civic authority as some kind of perpetual war of each against the all. So there is no trust in the institution, there is no trust in each other, and we constantly fight each other or are fearful of each other. So that condition of life creates the individual, which is, according to Hobbes, nasty, brutish, sort, and solitary. You don't have to take it in a real historical sense, but in his theoretical scheme, where he wants to provide a theory distinct from divine right theory of the king or religious understanding of authority, he provides a more secular or a very precise mathematical understanding or ground for having a civic authority and why to obey that civic authority. He come up with this idea of a state of nature, where he thinks people are selfish, driven by self-interest, which eventually lead to conflict, and there is this constant fear of each against the all. So to overcome that, he thinks of the need for a civic authority, or what he calls Leviathan. I hope that answer your question, Manisha. If you are not satisfied, you can use that. If you are in this live session, you can type your comment or question. I'll be happy to respond to that. But if you want to listen it later and you have further question, you can also use the discussion forum for that question. Thank you for your question. All right. So now I'll wait for your questions and comments. So if you have, Yuvraj, if you have some question, you can just unmute and ask. You have typed something, let me see. Okay, so Yuvraj is asking, here sir, Aristotle and his notion of humans as June politican is still valid in an era of digital individualism. Very good question. This is, yeah, Yuvraj. Thank you for this question, Yuvraj. I'm not very sure that you and me share the same understanding of digital individualism. Individualism of any kind, will be about our self-drive, our idea of what we think is good, and our ability to pursue them. And we need society or state or laws to create the condition where we can pursue those individual goals without fear to life or fear of our rights. So individualism in itself is not a challenge to the idea of individual being June politican. June politican means basically the essential nature of human being. That is the associational life, the relations that we share with other help us realize our own being, our own self. So for Aristotle, the purpose of human life is to full realization of his or her potentiality. And in that realization, it is essential that we associate with others. So in the family, in the civil society, and ultimately in the public and political life of the nation, help us realize that essence that we carry within us. So you remember this teleological argument in Aristotle. So even in this digital era or digital individualism, we cannot escape that necessity of being, related or leading an associational life. That gives us meaning, that makes us human, that is necessary for us to realize our own dreams or our own potential. So I would say that his conception of June politican, a political animal, not in the very crude sense of politicking, but associational. So we carry certain obligations, certain responsibility, as well as certain rights. Realization of those obligations, responsibility, and rights are possible when we engage in the larger society, in the life of the community. And that makes us a full human being or help us realize our own potentiality. So it's very much relevant even in this digital era. So by setting ourselves off from the larger community, we are just the atom, not realizing our true social life that makes us human. I hope that answers you, Raj. If not, Hi, Sanjay. I welcome you in this live session. You can just unmute and also share your thought on some of the thinkers, the questions being asked in your weekly assignment, or any idea that you may have.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. This is
Hello, sir.
Yuvraj.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Sir,
Yes,
I have also I have also heard about your book that
please go ahead.
introduction to it. I have also reference to your book like introduction to Indian politics.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, now I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Actually, sir, I have referenced by my Professor Satakshi Malviya to who edited your book, like Introduction to Indian Politics, right?
Okay.
So, thank you, sir, for I have read your book and it is very wonderful, rich in text. And one of my second question is, Plato suggested a form of communism of property and family for the guardian class, right? So
Wives,
can this be
yes.
considered a practical model, or is it only a philosophical idea?
Yeah, I don't know. Very good question. So, did you review that Indian political process book? Yuvraj,
Hello, sir.
did you
Yes.
yeah,
Can you repeat again, sir?
did you review that Indian political process book?
Uh, like, sir, I have not gone through the book, but it was shown by my Professor Satakshi Malviya. She edited
Okay.
your book. She edited your book, actually.
Okay.
So because of her, I have uh, enrolled in this Western political thought, and
Acha, Satakshi Malviya. Okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So, glad to hear that, Yuvraj.
yes, sir.
On your question related to this communism of wives and property, I think even in Plato's time, it was considered more a kind of utopian idea.
Narrow-minded side.
Uh, it had certain validity in his scheme of thing of philosopher king and so on, but I don't think, and you can disagree or anyone can disagree, that his idea, one can understand that a guardian clause should be free from domestic responsibility, right? That makes sense. But for that, whether or not you can have a next generation of guardian clause by some sort of communism of wives and property, the practical aspect of that idea and even the consequence or impact of that idea to the guardian clause is somewhat debatable. So I'd not say that. That's my personal opinion. So it
Okay,
may
thank you, sir.
appeal to different people, but in the larger mainstream ways of thinking about governance or governing model for the ruling class, I think very few will agree this idea.
And sir, is idea about that strict separation of power, like one should not interrupt in another's form of uh, his virtues or his work, right? So it can be said is a truest form of separation of power.
Oh, I don't think there is a kind of separation of power that we understand in modern democracy between the three core functions of the state. For example, legislative function, executive function, or adjudicative function. So we have understood, we understand separation of power in this way. But in Platonic conception, focus is on harmony. And that harmony is between the three classes, right? Not the power of the same class, and then there is a kind of division of power or separation of power there. He was more in a harmony that each class should do their work without interfering in the works of other class, and that way you will have harmony in the state, harmony in the society, and so on. It was more about harmony than the separation of power as we understand, to make the power more accountable. But if you think of the power of the philosopher king in the Platonic scheme, it's absolute, right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, dear. Sanjay, do you have any question, or those of you who have joined using the YouTube link, you can also type your question there.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, dear.
Sir, right now I'm reading Rousseau and I'm finding some contradiction in the statement of the Rousseau.
Yes.
Sir, on the one hand, like Rousseau is being the proponent of the liberty, equality, and the fraternity.
Sanjay, why don't you turn on your camera? It will be good to see you.
Yeah.
If it is okay with you.
Okay, sir.
Or it's fine. You can go ahead. Yes. Yeah, good to see you, Sanjay.
Yes, sir. So, on the one hand, Rousseau is being the proponent of the equality, fraternity, and liberty. Like they are the basic feature of the capitalism, I think so. And Hobbes and Locke is also the proponent of the capitalism also. And but Rousseau, on the other hand, is saying like he's the critic of the modernity. So these two statements are becoming uh, contradict with each other, sir. I'm not getting like what is the clear picture behind that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good question. I think, the real contradiction is not about capitalism or liberty or fraternity. In Plato, in Rousseau, unlike Hobbes and Locke, there is a, strand of thought which tries to replace the religious mode of uh, thinking to a new sense of civic virtue or civic life and so on. So this conception of general will is not entirely in accordance with the transaction or the contract language that you see in Hobbes and in Locke. Rousseau he is a social contract tradition thinker, but as you said, that he is the critique of modern science also in a way. And there, uh, in his treatise, you will have the polemics that human beings are born free, but everywhere he's in the chains.
It's
Right?
in the
That's
chain.
one. Yeah.
That is the opening statement of his social contract.
It's a contradictory statement or also polemical. That's to push his argument. And also when he says human beings can be forced to be free. So some people may find it very contradictory how one can be forced to be free. But in his scheme of general will, somehow he submerged or merged the individuality in the community or the general will. So while Locke retains it and protect it, like individual right is inalienable, Individual transfer certain rights to the society, to the state for certain purpose, but individual do not submit completely to the society or to the state. In fact, if the state fails to protect individual rights, individual has right to resist that state. So right to life, liberty, property remains intact in Lockean scheme of things. But here in Rousseau, once you rise above your selfish interest and fix for the community what is general will, then your individuality gets lost. You become the part of the public life, and the popular sovereignty comes from there. So in Rousseau, of course, yeah, that's the contradiction, but not that much about capitalism and what you are suggesting. And of course, if you read C.B. Macpherson theory of possessive individualism, even that you will find more there in Hobbes and Locke. Of course, in Rousseau, because individual himself frame the law that becomes binding for them. There is no external authority. In that sense, he is talking about possessive individualism. But once general will is framed, then there is no individuality in Rousseau. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
really
you very
good
much,
question. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. You're welcome. Maybe I'll wait for 2-3 minutes more. If you have question, please put up or type in this chat box. Or if there is no more question, we'll have 2 more live sessions before your final exam. You can join me. Again, we can have a discussion. And also, you use the discussion forum for any questions or clarification that you may need. And you can also share your feedback about the course and its content. Okay, so it seems there is no more question. All right, so thank you for joining me during this live session. And as I said, we'll have 2 more live sessions before your final exam. You can also use the discussion forum for any question. I'll see you in the next live session, and also looking forward to your question and comments